Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In the yesterday's video, we have learned about the central movement and non-central movement, their relationship, and we have learned only the two movements yesterday. So the remaining two movements are we are going to learn today. So I think you have remembered the mean and variance, right? So please text me in the comment box what is the mean and variance. Now we will see the third central movement. So our mu r is 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 times to n fi into di minus mu 1 dash whole to the power of r. Mu r is equals to 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 times to n fi into di minus mu 1 dash whole to the power of r. Now let us consider r is equals to 3. In the yesterday's video, we have seen when r is equals to 0, r is equals to 1 and r is equals to 2. What are the central moments? So, today assume r is equals to 3. Therefore, mu r becomes mu 3 is equals to 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 times to n fi into di minus mu 1 dash whole to the power of 3. In the yesterday's video, we have learned the formula of x minus y whole to the power of n, which is nc0 into x to the power of n and y to the power of 0. Here the sign is minus, so minus nc1 into x to the power of n minus 1 y to the power of 1 plus nc2 into x to the power of n minus 2 and y to the power of 2 minus nc3 1. Here it is plus sign, minus sign, plus sign, minus sign. In this way the formula goes x to the power of n minus 3 into y to the power of 3 plus nc4 into x to the power of n minus 4 and y to the power of 4. In this way the formula goes on. So here our n is 3 and x is di, y is mu 1 dash. So in the place of x, y and n we have to replace these values simply. Therefore mu 3 is equals to 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 times to n fi, make a whole bracket here. Now substitute these values in the place of n and x. So n is 3, 3c0 into x is di, n is 3, di to the power of n and y is mu 1 dash whole to the power of 0. I'll make a line here so that you can easily understand. And minus 3c1 di to the power of n minus 1. 3 minus 1 into y is mu 1 dash whole to the power of 1 plus 3c2 into di to the power of 3 minus 2 which is n minus 2 and y square which is mu 1 dash whole to the power of square. And next plus 3c2 minus n is 3, c3 and xi is di and n minus 3 is n is 3, 3 minus 3 and y is mu 1 dash whole to the power of 3. Here again we have nc4, but here the n should not be less than the r value. So here the 3c4 which is 3 is less than the 4. So we will stop up to here only. Therefore mu 3 is equals to 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 times to n fi 3 3c0. In the yesterday, we have learnt the combination formula also, which is NCR is equals to n factorial by n minus r factorial into r factorial, which means 3c0. Therefore, 3c0 is equals to 3 factorial by n is 3 and r is 0. 3 minus 0 factorial, 3 factorial, and r is 0, 0 factorial. We can cancel 3 factorial and 3 factorial. We get 1. So 1 into di to the power of cube. Di to the power of cube, and anything to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 minus again 3c1. Therefore 3c1 is equals to 3 factorial by n minus r factorial is 3 minus 1 factorial, which is 2 factorial, and r factorial is r is 1 factorial, which is we can write. Are you familiar with the combinations? Anything factorial, we write it as n into n minus 1 factorial. So 3 factorial becomes 3 into 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 factorial by 2 factorial into 1 factorial. So these 2 factorial cancel. We get the 3 answer. Therefore 3 di and 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 and anything to the power of 1. 1 to the power of 1 is 1 only. So mu1 dash to the power of 1 is mu1 dash. mu1 dash and plus 3c2. We need to find out the 3c2. 3c2 is equals to 3 factorial by 3 minus 2 factorial 1 factorial into 2 factorial. Therefore, now only we have learnt how to write the factorizations. 3n factorial is nothing but n into n minus 1 factorial, which is 3 into 3 minus 1 factorial is 2 factorial by 2 factorial into 1 factorial. Just cancel this 2 factorial and 2 factorial. We have with 3. Therefore, 3 di to the power of 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Therefore, 3 di to the power of 1 into mu1 dash square minus 3c3. Therefore, 3c3 is equals to 3 factorial by 3 minus 3 factorial, 0 factorial into 3 factorial. So we get it as 1. Therefore 1 and 3 minus 3 is 0. Anything to the power of 0 we get as 1. So 1 and we remaining with mu1 dash to the power of cube. Therefore mu3 is equals to 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi, and multiply this whole with all these inside one numbers. So fi into di to the power of cube. 1 into 1 is 1. So 1 into di to the power of cube is di to the power of cube. Minus, here 3 is constant and mu1 dash is constant. So I am writing it as outside. Therefore 3 mu1 dash and 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi and di square plus we have 3 and mu1 dash square is also constant, so we need to write it as outside. Therefore 3 mu1 dash square and 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into di to the power of 1. Therefore 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into di to the power of 1 minus 1 into 1 is 1. 1 into mu1 dash to the cube is mu1 dash to the cube. and we have 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi. So here summation fi we know the capital N. So we can easily cancel capital N and capital N. So we get only 1. 1 into mu 1 dash to the cube, mu 1 dash to the cube. And mu 3 is equals to, we know right, what is di? Di is nothing but xi minus a whole to the power of cube minus 3 mu 1 dash 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into di is nothing but xi minus a to the power of square plus 3 mu 1 dash square 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into xi minus a whole to the power of 1 minus mu 1 dash to the power of cube. So mu 3 is equals to, here you carefully see this part. 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into xi minus a whole to the power of cube. This is the third non-central movement formula, which is this one. If you can see here, mu 3 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into xi minus a whole to the power of cube is mu 3 dash. So we need to substitute this mu 3 dash. Therefore mu 3 dash minus 3 mu 1 dash, and here xi minus a whole to the power of square. Now only we have seen the same formula, but here r is 3 and r is 2. So it becomes mu 2 dash plus 3 mu 1 dash square. Here the power is only 1, remaining is same. So we get mu 1 dash and minus mu 1 dash cube. Therefore minus mu 1 dash cube, which is mu 3 is equals to mu 3 dash minus 3 mu 1 dash mu 2 dash plus 3 mu 2 dash square into mu 2 dash 1 mu 2 dash, which becomes mu 1 dash cube minus mu 1 dash cube. If we subtract, we get mu 3 is equals to mu 3 dash minus 3 mu 1 dash mu 2 dash plus 2 mu 1 dash whole cube. This is the third central movement. This is the third central movement about the mean. So now we will going to see the mu 4, which is when r is equals to 4. So don't skip it. See it carefully. The calculations may be somewhat confusing. So when r is equals to 4, mu 4 is equals to 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into di minus mu 1 dash whole to the power of 4. Here we know the formula, so we can easily write now, which is x minus y whole to the power of n. Therefore nc 0 into x to the power of n y to the power of 0 minus nc2 into x to the power of n minus 1 and y to the power of 1 plus nc3 into x to the power of n minus 2 and y to the power of square minus nc4 into x to the power of n minus 3 y to the power of cube. Sorry, here 1, 2 and here 3, and we get plus nc4 into x to the power of n minus 4 into y to the power of 4. Here we have up to till 4 only. So I have written here the formula up to 4. So here the x is di and y is mu1 dash and n is 4. Just simply substitute these x, y and n in this formula. Therefore 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 turns to n fi into 4c0 into di to the power of 4 mu1 dash to the power of 0 minus 4c1 into di to the power of n minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3 and y is mu1 dash to the power of 1 plus NC2 is 4C2 into x is di to the power of n minus 2. N is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. Therefore 2 and y is mu1 dash to the power of square plus minus. Here plus and minus. NC3 which is 4C3 into x is di to the power of n minus 3. N is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So we get 1 here and y is mu1 dash whole to the power of cube plus NC4. 4C4 into x is di and n minus 4. N is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0 and y is mu1 dash whole to the power of 4. And now see here 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 turns to n fi 4c0 which is nothing but 4 factorial by 4 minus 0 factorial is 4 factorial into 0 factorial. We get 1. Therefore 1 and di to the power of 4 mu1 dash anything to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 minus 4c1. 4c1 is equals to 4 factorial by 4 minus 1 factorial is 3 factorial into r factorial is 1 factorial. Therefore in the video only we have learnt how to write the factorials. N factorial means n into n minus 1 factorial. Therefore n is 4 and n minus 1 is 4 minus 1 3 factorial by 3 factorial into 1 factorial. Easily cancel these 3 factorial and these 3 factorial. We get 4. Therefore 4 into di to the power of cube mu1 dash plus 4c2. 4c2 is nothing but 4 factorial by 4 minus 2 is 2 factorial into 2 factorial. Just now only we have seen how to write the A. And here 4c2. Now only we have learned how to write the factorials. N into n minus 1 into n minus 2 factorial. Therefore n into n minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3 into n minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 factorial by 2 factorial into 2 factorial. So I can easily cancel these 2 factorials and 4 3s are 12. 12 by 2 factorial is 2. Therefore 2 1s are 2 6 are 12. So 6 di square and mu1 dash square minus 4c3. 4c3 is 4 factorial by 4 minus 3 factorial 1 factorial into 3 factorial. Therefore 4 into 3 factorial by 3 factorial which we can cancel and we get the 4. Therefore 4 di to the power of 1 and mu1 dash cube plus 4c4. 4c4 we get as 1 and anything to the power of 0 is 1. and mu1 dash to the power of 4. Therefore, multiply this term with all these terms inside, which we get 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into di to the power of 4 minus 4, and mu1 dash is constant. So write it outside. Minus 4 mu1 dash into 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into di to the power of cube, plus here 6 and mu1 dash square is constant. Therefore 6 mu1 dash square and 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into di square. Into di square. So we are remaining with these two terms. I will easily write this one. 4 and mu1 dash cube is constant. So minus 4 mu1 dash cube multiply with 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into di to the power of 1, plus 1 into 1 is 1 and mu1 dash to the power of 4 into 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi. So here summation fi we know it has a capital N. So capital N, and which is 1 is numerator and 1 is in the denominator. So we can easily cancel capital N and capital N. So we only get the mu1 dash to the power of 4. Therefore, I am writing here what is the formula of di. Di is nothing but xi minus a whole to the power of 4 and minus 4 mu1 dash 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into xi minus a whole to the power of cube, plus 6 mu1 dash square into 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into xi minus a whole to the power of square, minus 4 mu1 dash cube into 1 by n summation I is equals to 1 tends to n fi into xi minus a whole to the power of 1 plus mu1 dash to the power of 4. If you see this formula, this is the fourth non-central moment. Once you see the formulas here, so that you can clearly get this one. So simply write here mu4 dash minus 4 mu1 dash, and this is when it is 4 it became mu4 dash. Here it is 3, therefore mu3 dash, plus 6 mu1 dash square, here square, so it becomes mu2 dash, minus 4 mu1 dash cube, and here it is 1, so it is mu1 dash, plus mu1 dash whole to the power of 4. So now mu4 is equals to mu4 dash minus 4 mu1 dash mu3 dash plus 6 mu2 dash and mu1 dash square minus 4 mu1 dash cube into mu1 dash, which is nothing but the bases are same. We add the powers. Therefore 3 plus 1 is 4, minus 4 mu1 dash to the power of 4 plus mu1 dash to the power of 4. So we get 3 mu1 dash to the power of 4. Therefore mu4 is equals to mu4 dash minus 4 mu 1 dash mu 3 dash plus 6 mu 2 dash mu 1 dash square minus 3 mu 1 dash to the power of 4. And mu 3 is equals to mu 3 dash minus 3 mu 2 dash mu 1 dash plus 2 mu 1 dash plus 2 mu 1 dash cube plus 2 mu 1 dash cube. So I hope you have understood this video. If you have any doubts, please give in the comment box. And please like, share and subscribe to my channel. And also share to your friends which may be helpful to them. Thank you.